Tonal, I think, has really helped me get a better sense of my mental wellness as much as my physical. And I kind of started my journey again in order to kind of lose weight, obviously, because I wasn't feeling great about myself. I didn't fit into my clothes. And I think Tonal helped me realize that it's not just about losing the weight, but it's also, feeling strong inside and outside. And I really, it's been a really great journey for me to just kind of think about that, like what kind of person I want to be in the world, how I want to show up for people, physically and mentally.
Time to hit the gym, better do it smart. Get your own coach, there where you are. Start the day right, there in your home. With the smartest gym in the world, ready, set, go. Smart handle, smart bar, smart training, there you are. Customizing it right, AI, form advice. Superset will show you what it's all about. It's a total workout.
Welcome to the Superset Podcast, episode 28. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. So how's your mood? I know you, as we're recording this, you start a new job tomorrow.
I do. I'm anxious.
Yeah.
I know that will really shock you.
It is. I was like, I don't know if people are watching on the YouTube channel, they can see that I actually put on pearls just for this episode, so I could clutch them.
Yeah, well, now consider them clutched. But I'm nervous. I'm excited though. I think it'll be interesting to make such a large change in our lives. So you've changed jobs since we've been together, but it's been kind of like it's been the same type of job, just at different places. It's a very different type of job. It's a different commute, so that's going to be an adjustment. Yeah, I'm a little worried how that's going to fit into the old schedule.
Get to spend a lot of time in your fancy sports car.
That is true. I do love my car.
Yeah. So anyway, she sounds on edge. That's why.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, if I bite Tom's head off, it's.
So what do you have in store for people this week?
Well, we are going to talk about some new cool stuff that Tonal is doing, because that's what we do here.
Sure.
There's also some instructor news, and there's some articles that Tonal was mentioned in that we're going to hit. And then, of course, there's new content we're going to cover, and some a past Tonal Talk that I wanted to highlight, and an upcoming Tonal Talk that I wanted to highlight as well.
Awesome. Well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeart, TuneIn, Stitcher, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and leave a review so people coming along after you know that we're worth checking out. And also, while you're there, be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. If you want to stay up to date on Superset and Tonal things in between episodes, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Superset Podcast. There's a group and a page. You can like the page and join the group, and the group just lets you start conversations a little bit more easilier, I believe is the correct grammar there.
Yeah. I think that's not how you say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can also watch these episodes at YouTube at youtube.com/theclipout, which is the name of our other podcast, but we have everything living under that umbrella at the custom YouTube URL. So check us out over there.
Yeah.
So I guess that's there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
So there's a nice little addition to the Tonal page, which is a Tonal hotel finder.
Brand new.
Yeah, that's pretty spiffy.
I love it. So for everybody that is hopefully getting to travel this summer, this is the perfect time to check it out. You can go and find where Tonals are located all across the nation, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know that, when we're going places, you're always like, does it have a Peloton? Does it have a Tonal?
Yeah.
Like those are always the two big questions. And so any tools at your disposal to make that a little easier, yes, please.
Absolutely.
So you can find all that at tonal.com, and the URL is like tonal.com/tonal-hotel-finder. But just go to the Tonal website. It'll be there for you somewhere.
You can find it.
Yeah. You're not going to remember that URL. And then also from the Tonal blog, they have tonal workouts and programs to channel your inner athlete.
Exactly. This just posted back on July 8th, and this goes through some different options you have, like, for example, to build up athletic strength. So they give you suggestions like Athletic Bar with Coach Gabby, focuses on strength and cardio. It's going to develop body awareness, which helps you get, kind of like get centered in your own body.
Right.
And then you also work on flexibility, agility, balance, and posture. And then if you want to kind of move on from there, there's also for runners. So for example, in the Running with Coach Liz, that's what powers the world's fastest runners, muscle strength. And then she goes in and she teaches you how to train your core for increased speed, developing hip and core stability, and preparing for your next race with the strength to win. There's also one for golfers, Above Par with Coach Paul. For swimmers, Swim to Success with Coach Natalie. For cyclists, there is Core Strength with Cycling for Coach Liz. And then there's a whole bunch of programs to look into, and that's Good to Great with Coach Paul, Triathlon Power with Coach Mark, Triathlon Endurance with Coach Mark, Better Bike and Tread with Coach Nicolette. I have to give a huge plug for that one. 5K Strong with Coach Liz, and Watts Up with Coach Liz. So lots of option to increase performance, and it's just one of the many things that we are so lucky that Tonal does.
Absolutely, because so many people come to Tonal for different purposes and goals, and so there's all sorts of different ways that you can utilize it to achieve very, very different goals.
Yes.
Look who's talking about Tonal.
So, Tonal CEO Aly Orady was featured in Forbes magazine.
Go, Aly!
That's pretty fancy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of like a little ode to Aly. Like, it talks about where he started. First of all, it mentions that the global fitness equipment market exceeded $10 billion in 2020 and is expected to reach $25 billion by 2027. Oof. Yeah, I know, right? And then kind of talking through like where that's headed, and they feature Tonal as that's one of the places they're headed.
Right.
And I did not realize. So we know the story because Aly has been on our show. Mm-hmm. He's been kind enough to let us interview him. So we know that where he started was like he was not happy in his career. He wasn't happy because he was overweight and out of shape. And so like he quit his job, focused on fitness. This talks about that. But it also talks about like he was sitting there spending all this time in a gym, and then he was like, I need to figure out a way to make that cable machine smaller. and that's when he did that. Now, if you kind of figure out where he is now, but the super exciting part about this is that you kind of look at the future at the end of this article. So he talks about how Tonal has 300 employees today, 50 points of distribution beyond its e-commerce presence, and that includes, of course, Nordstrom.
Right.
And then he's looking to expand his market beyond fitness enthusiasts into rehab applications, and has entered into a clinical trial with the Mayo Clinic.
Wow.
Very exciting.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, and he looks to combine his history for entrepreneurship, focus on health and passion for fitness to continue to grow the company. And while the company's growth trajectory and lofty valuation point to an IPO sometime in the future, no timetable was provided as of this writing.
Well, I'm sure there's absolutely no connection between all of that stuff you just rattled off and the other article we found.
Yeah.
From Bloomberg Law, titled Tonal Taps First Legal Chief as Fit Tech Loads Up on Lawyers.
I mean, so this clearly points to an IPO coming. I mean, we've been saying that for a while,
sure.
but this is a very, very clear indicator that this is what they're doing to prepare. This is a huge step that every company must take before they file an IPO. And so this is very exciting. So let's see. The person it's going to be Andrea Soria is the new director of legal. And then it's going to be the first in-house legal chief. And they have been seeking funding over the past year, which we already know.
Yeah, and they've touted several different times when they got an influx of investors.
Yes, from very, very high profile people.
Yeah.
And so I guess, let's see, Saria started her legal career 20 decades ago. She is 200 years old. 2 decades ago at San Jose, California-based law firm McMinnis and Faulkner. Spent 4 years as general counsel at Intero Real Estate Services. And then she moved on to Berkshire Hathaway Home Services as well.
Not too shabby.
No.
So they're bringing the heat.
Yeah. And then in 2009, Saria was hired by Glue Mobile, and then she was hired by Stripe. And then now she's going to be, I'm sorry, I missed Calm. And then she left Calm a year ago. So, and
Probably
now.
because it was boring.
It was so calm.
That's just so
It was
calm.
too calm.
You're just like, oh, I'm so bored. Get me out of here.
Too funny.
She won't have those problems at Tonal.
She will not.
Very exciting place to be.
Congrats. And welcome to the Tonal family.
Coaches in the news.
So Coach Jackson got hitched.
He did, to Anya. And, Anya's also part of the Tonal community, and she's very active in the Tonal community. So we wanted to make sure and say congrats to both of them. And I understand that this was kind of like a small ceremony.
Gotcha.
But there is like a destination wedding. I believe she said Cabo.
Oh,
but
that'll be fun. I can't wait for our invitation.
Yeah, right? Yeah. We'll just watch for that. But that's coming up in a few months. So we will be able to celebrate yet again.
How about that?
It's very exciting. So congrats to both of you guys.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I know they've been waiting for a long time. COVID derailed their plans.
COVID screwed it all up.
It sure did.
Yeah.
COVID did a lot of that.
That it did. And then Coach Venus was featured in a magazine.
Yeah, I believe it was Women's Health magazine.
Okay.
Or maybe it was just Health magazine.
My subscription lapsed.
Oh.
So I'm not aware.
It's health. It was health.com is at the bottom. So I think it's Health magazine.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it featured her. And an eagle-eyed Tonal community member posted this in the Tonal community. I just thought it was pretty cool to see one of our instructors posted in a magazine. So congrats to Venus, Coach Venus, who we also interviewed on the podcast. If you didn't get a chance to listen, you definitely want to head back to that episode and check it out.
And then finally, while we're talking about what's going on with instructors, Coach Pablo got a puppy.
An adorable puppy.
It is a pretty cute puppy.
Oh my God, look at that face. Do you remember, I don't see the words next to usually whenever we look at Facebook, there's like the actual post next to it. And he had her name, and I can't remember what her name is, but she is such a sweetheart. I want to take her home. Oh my God, look at that.
For people that are listening, you can see video of the adorable puppy, whose name is Debbie Ballerina Barbie.
Oh, I want to see her in a tutu.
You can see that on if you watch this episode on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/theclipout. But yeah, so that's a cute little puppy.
It sure is. Oh, Tom, we need another one.
Crystal is fighting the urge to not nuzzle her computer monitor right now.
Nuzzle. I want that puppy.
I know how this works.
Oh, congrats, guys. That's amazing. Oh, she's so cute. And now Dude is a big brother. Dude is an adorable puppy, too. But he's not a puppy anymore. He's just a big doggy.
Checking in with the Tonal team.
So there's a new member of the Tonal team.
Yeah, I thought this was cool. So Andrew Tripppi is going to be, so Andrew is the founder of Tonal Dads. That's the Facebook group. And now he is going to be a sales specialist at the Tonal Oak Brook showroom. That's in Chicago, for anybody who doesn't know that. And so if you are in the Chicago area, definitely go and say hi. But congrats to Andrew. That is so cool.
Absolutely.
I love watching the Tonal family grow.
And an interesting little note, Sumner Paine.
So Sumner has been part of the Tonal team for a long time. He's worked at Tonal for a long time. Okay. And he always amazes me with his accomplishments. But this one takes the cake. 25 million pounds reached.
Wow.
Million.
That's a lot.
That's unbelievable. So big congrats to Sumner. Someday.
Sumner Day.
That's what we should call it.
Yeah.
Did you have Sumner Day today?
Yeah. When you hit 25 million, it's Sumner Day.
That's Sumner Day.
New tonal content.
As always, tons of new content on your tonal machine.
There is so much. I am not going to go through it all because it would be an entire episode.
It would be.
But I want to point out that there is a lot. And these are like single like one-off workouts that you can do. So some things that I want to highlight are there's a brand new, I know I just said that they're single workouts, but this one happens to be a program. It's a high intensity program. So we've never done this before. There's never been a program that's been focused on high intensity.
Oh, okay.
So this is very exciting. This is Coach Gabby, intermediate, full body, 3 times a week for 2 weeks. So you're starting to see a lot more of these like 2-week programs. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of a good way to mix things up.
Yeah.
And so you get to focus on the HIIT the entire time. For 2 weeks in this program.
And my guess is there's probably a lot of people that don't want to lock in for a month.
Yeah, totally.
And so those 2 weeks classes make a lot of sense. It's kind of comparable to how Peloton started to discover that people like the 20-minute classes. And I think this is kind of the tonal equivalent of like, people are like, I don't know if I want to do it for a whole month, but I can power through for 2 weeks.
And 30 days is a long time to focus on a HIIT program. That would be a really long time. So I can understand why people, that would make sense to do a shorter one.
It's intimidating.
It is, absolutely. And then there's tons of new Theragun content. So Tonal is still partnering with Theragun, and so you can still get 10% off if you purchase a Theragun. And then there's a whole bunch of content, like I said. And so upper body, lower body, recovery, etc. Then we've got some new meditations, new yoga. There's one that I wanted to point out, new yoga. It's an Empower one. It's all about the peacock pose, which is a difficult pose to master. So you can strengthen your
peacock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Careful there, Tom. Careful.
What?
Careful.
I'm just saying you could strengthen your peacock.
We have
people like their peacock to be strong.
We have Unleash Your Core with Coach Francis. New cardio. So there's a cardio dash with Coach Nicolette. 18 minutes, full body. Whew, that sounds like it's up your alley, Tom. Then we have new mobility, neck and shoulders with Coach Nicolette. And then there's new Pilates, which is going to focus on your posterior chain. I can just see you over there trying to make jokes.
Oh, I've got a million of them.
I know you do.
My peacock's up your alley.
There's also... wow. There's also new bar classes, standing cardio bar, and then new strength. There's form-focused fitness with Coach Amy, more high intensity. So there's ease into intensity with Coach Amy and full body elevate with Coach Amy. And then there were 20 new drops that happened in 1 week.
Holy smokes.
Not going through them all.
Yeah.
There were a few that I wanted to point out. New strength, which was Everyday Fit with Coach Allison. High intensity, it was overachieving upper body with Coach Jared. There's a new recovery. With Coach Nicolette, it was express recovery, which is really good for people who don't have a ton of time, but they do want to focus on the recovery. And then a new warm-up, slow and strong warm-up with Coach Paul. Shoo!
That's a lot.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
And I really didn't touch everything. There's so much more that dropped.
Do you want to touch my peacock?
Oh my God. Oh, well, I feel like I hit a couple different shades of red there.
Tonal Talks.
So there's a new Tonal Talk coming up.
So coming up on August 11th at 7 p.m. Central is a Tonal Talk with Coach Liz all about hips. It's going to focus on causes of hip pain, and it's going to also, that means that they're going to explore common causes of hip pain, how to conduct a self-assessment to better understand your body, form fixes, and tips to help you move and feel better. And this has been like an ongoing series they've been doing that Coach Liz has been kind of deep diving into different areas of your body. So in the past, there's been shoulder health, knee health, and darn it, there was another one that I can't remember, spine health. And so if you have not been checking those out, I highly recommend that you do, because they are so incredibly helpful, and they really help you pinpoint like, why is this hurting, and help you figure out the causes, because sometimes it's as simple as not stretching the right way, or maybe you're not stretching enough, maybe you're just not stretching, and so you think like, oh, I have this pain and it's just a pain I have to deal with, but maybe if you do some mobility, you might find that that pain completely goes away.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely fascinating. I just wanted to highlight that was coming up, because I feel like that series is a do not miss series.
Yeah, and in case people are unaware, Liz has a PhD in this stuff.
Yeah, she does. She just finished up her PhD this year. As a matter of fact, she's been working on it for a long time, and she knows her shit.
Yes.
She's a smart lady.
And then there was also a recent Tonal Talk featuring Troy Taylor.
Yeah, so Troy is new to the Tonal team, and he is going to be leading up the Strength Institute, which I'm super excited about. What is the Strength Institute? I'm sure you were asking that, Tom.
I was.
It's a department that is dedicated to high-level research that is for everyone interested in strength training. So think of this as like really, really deep data mining for strength nerds.
Interesting.
And
to them.
I mean, it's totally interesting to me. So it's cool because this is one that I got to watch, and I really enjoyed hearing about their plans. Like, they can take data across everyone who's using Tonal and find little tweaks that they can personalize for each of us. And so sometimes it may not be personalized. Sometimes it might be things like, here's how people are using Tonal. Like, there was that recent, it's been a couple months ago, there was an article that came out like, here's things you should know for like building your biceps or building your chest. And it talked through all of the different ways people are doing that. It's going to be like that, but it can be on any topic regarding strength training. And so, for example, one of the things that they talked about was like, if you're having pain and you're having mobility issues, here's some things that could help. So like, in theory, with all this data compiled, you could be like, well, I'm having a pain in, I don't know, my low back. What kind of mobility exercises can I do? And it would like pop up with some suggestions for you. How amazing is that?
That's pretty spiffy.
But it can do, this Strength Institute is going to be able to do all kinds of things. So this is going to be a very exciting space to watch. I'm super excited to see where Tonal takes this.
Absolutely. There's a couple of new Tonal groups people might want to check out.
Yeah, there's one called Fighting Disease with Tonal, and this one is about people that have a Tonal and they also have autoimmune diseases. So I thought that was worth mentioning, because I know that autoimmune disease can be very debilitating and isolating and stressful, and movement has so much to do with making you feel better. So I think this is a great group to highlight. Also, there was another group created, and both of these are unofficial. These are not Tonal supported groups. Not that Tonal's against them.
Right.
It's just Tonal's not running them.
Right.
That's all that means.
Yeah.
And it makes it sound bad when I say it like that. There's also another one for Tonal members in Las Vegas. So it's called, actually, I thought it was called Vegas Strong, but I'm not sure.
No, it is.
It is called Vegas Strong? Okay, cool. So if you live in Las Vegas and you have a Tonal, this group is for you. So you can connect with like-minded Tonal members. Very cool. I like seeing that all these little groups are starting to shoot off.
Starting to bubble up.
Yeah, it's neat. Neat to see it.
Tonal Book Club.
So the latest book club selection has been selected.
Yeah, and we actually talked about it in our last episode, but we just mentioned it. We didn't talk about what the book was about. So I thought it was worth mentioning again. The book that we chose, I didn't choose it. So it's called The Mindful Athlete. In this book, George Mumford shares mindfulness practices that can help transform the performance of anyone. So if you're an athlete, or if you're a weekend warrior, or maybe you're an executive, but somebody who's trying to get the best out of things you love, your passions,
Right.
then you can discover proven techniques that helped people like Michael Jordan and the late Kobe Bryant elevate their game.
Well, those two did okay for themselves.
They did.
Yeah.
They did, as a matter of fact. So very cool.
Tonal birthdays.
And then finally, we have a birthday to celebrate.
Yeah. And so you might remember that we talked about on the last episode that we have a new community member who's like community person running the community.
There you go.
Like Kate does. And that's Dia Woodbury. And it was her birthday on July 8th. This is the first episode we've had since then. So I wanted to make sure and wish Dia a happy birthday. Very cool.
We can't sing the songs, so we have to pay for it. I think it's public domain now, but we don't want to risk it.
We don't want to risk it.
And you don't want to hear us sing.
That's really the biggest reason.
Yes.
Yeah. But happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Checking in with the Tonal community.
So joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Selina Sun. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good. And we are so excited to have you here today. One thing that I always like to do at the beginning of these interviews is find out where you first heard about Tonal and what made you like pull the trigger to decide to actually bring it home.
Yes. Okay. So I heard about Tonal from a friend, and I was basically texting my friend being like, oh, I don't know if I want to go back to our fancy gym that we both went to. So he sent me a link to Tonal. This is like right around the time where I was like, I shouldn't go back to the gym. Like maybe I should find something that would be able to have me work out at home like forever. So I went on the Tonal website, and then I pretty much was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this. Like I did order another like comparable device.
Okay.
But
it turned out to not be comparable.
So I actually returned it before I even got it, because I was like, I'm just going to try Tonal. Like there's a 30-day thing. I'll try it. Like if I really don't like it, then I'll return it, but I'm not even going to deal with this other one because, I was like, I don't need it. And then I did my first workout, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally keeping this. Like there's no, I don't even need the 30 days. It's fine.
Well, so have you been a person who like works out all the time since you went to a fancy gym? I'm going to assume you were working out.
Sort of. So I spent a lot of my youth playing sports. Is kind of like, I mean, when you're a kid, it's like built in. So you're always doing physical activity. And then, I did that through high school and college. I kind of lost that scheduled time. So I really struggled with like self-esteem, my mental health, like stress. And so it took me after college to really realize that I needed like physical activity to kind of just feel better. And so I basically started going to the gym like after I went to college. But the hard thing about the gym is that, as life continues and you become an adult and you get a job and then you like meet more people, like kind of life gets in the way, I guess, of prioritizing your health and your like physical and mental well-being. So, I'd have a lot of like spurts where I'd go regularly, and then I'd, stop going for 2 months, and then I'd have to like pick up again and then stop again. And the hardest part of doing like exercising is starting, right? Like having to start over and over again. You're like, oh, this sucks. Like I'm getting like sore and I like hate it. And like, why am I torturing myself? But I mean, some people like it. I don't like starting over and over again.
I don't know who those people are you speak of.
They're out there. I know that because I have friends that are like that. And I'm like, you're crazy, but more power to you. But anyway, so I started, this is kind of, I guess I'm going on like a little tangent, but I started grad school, in 2019, and I was working full time and doing grad school at the same time, and kind of just like exploded with stress. Like by my first semester, I basically gained like 20 pounds. Like I was feeling super unhappy and like just overwhelmed with the amount of stress I had. And I was like, okay, I can't keep living this way. Like it's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for my friends, my family, the people that I care about. And so I was like, I'm going to make a commitment, like get up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym before work. And so that's kind of how I started down this new path. The pandemic hit, and then I started working out at home. And then I was like, oh, this is great. I can work out at home and not have, the time issue or the like fitting it in, because I can literally just roll out of bed and work out. And then that's how I found Tonal. And then I got onto the Tonal thing. And now I'm just loving it. Like I have a whole kind of structure, basically like 15 steps away from everything. Which is great.
Yeah, I feel the same about, especially going to the gym if you're taking classes, because then you have to fit in around their schedule, and then there might be parking you have to deal with, and might get there early to get a seat or whatever. And so, yeah, that adds a lot of stress. So working out at home takes all of that away.
It does. And I mean, to your point with classes, like a great thing about a class is that you kind of get to meet other people at the class, but Tonal does a really good job of being able to meet other people through like the Tonal community. So I feel like, and I actually, I would go to the gym and just be alone. So it's actually really nice to be on Tonal and get to talk to people that I feel like I know, even if, I haven't physically met them, like I feel like I know and I can bond with, and we can like, keep each other accountable. And it's just great. Like it's completely changed my life and my like perspective on what wellness means. So it's great.
Awesome.
So, how has it worked for you during the pandemic? Did you find it using it more, or?
So when I first started, I was like, I'll do it a couple of days a week, see how it goes. And then as I ordered my Tonal in June. So it was during the pandemic. And then I got it in.
Okay.
Yeah. I ordered during the pandemic. I got it in September. And then from there, I was like, oh, okay, I'll try it a couple of days a week. But then the more that I got into it, and then I did the first group challenge they did with Natalie in, I think it was in November. That challenge, I was like, oh, Tonal is like, this is like my Tonal kick then, because I started doing it kind of every day. And instead of just doing like the strength training or the HIIT training, the core, I started doing more yoga and meditation and kind of mobility work. That kind of helped me incorporate more things into my day. So instead of just kind of like doing the workout, I would warm up and then do the workout. And then at night I would, listen to a meditation to kind of calm myself down listen to meditations at night just to calm myself down. And then it really helped deal with the pandemic in general. But, I was working full time in a pandemic, going to school at night. There's just a lot that's happening. And I really got through it because I had like Tonal structure here with me. So it made me feel more capable of doing things. And I really think that helped me get through, the last like 9 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What are you going to school for?
I actually just graduated last month, but I got my master's in business. Thank you.
Nice.
Congrats.
Yeah.
I felt like I was at a frat party. So what's your major?
I am a fellow MBA, and
Nice.
I also had to work full time whenever I was doing mine. So I feel you. And I didn't have the pandemic to deal with, but I was going through a divorce at the same time and moved. So it was crazy.
Oh man, that's a lot. That's definitely a lot. Props to you, man.
But I will say this, if it makes you feel any better, that MBA has been worth every penny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's going to open so many doors for you. It's very exciting.
Yes. I'm excited to be done. I'm sort of taking a little bit of time to maybe rest like a tiny bit.
Deserve it.
Yes,
absolutely deserve that.
Very excited.
As you should be. So it sounds like you're using your Tonal not just for your physical well-being, but also your mental well-being. And I was kind of surprised to hear that it's really the challenge that kind of led you down that path. It wasn't something like you said, I would like to do a meditation today. It was like they suggested it and you did it. And then it sounds like you started loving it. Am I making too many assumptions there?
No, I think you're definitely right. I mean, there was, first joining Tonal, kind of meeting a few people in the community, and then seeing how they interact and then joining that challenge. It kind of all happened in like, 2 months. And it sort of got me into a place where I was like, oh, well, maybe I should listen to this meditation because it might help me like calm my mind. And so I tried listening to like white noise before or like music, but it always takes me a long time to fall asleep. Whereas I actually listen to the meditation as I fall asleep, and then I like breathe when I do it. And I feel like I don't even remember when I fall asleep nowadays. It's just like very calming and a way for me to kind of just not think about the rest of the day. I find that my mind is always running, even if I am trying to calm down.
Is that something that comes along with? Is that something that just like everybody with MBAs has, or
maybe
just you two?
I don't know, but I feel you, Selina. I feel you.
Yeah. It's like, I wish I could just like, even just like when when you're doing yoga and, Francis is telling you like, oh, deep breath, like think about like your body and like do a body scan. And I'm just like, what should I do later today? Or like, do I have to do my laundry? Like, it's really hard to calm your mind down. So the meditation actually has really helped me stay more present, which helps throughout the whole aspect of my life. I think like as we're moving, we're doing a bunch of things throughout the day. It's really hard to stay present in conversations when you're like talking to people, when there's, a million things coming at you, whether it's work or other things. So I think it really does help kind of make sure you're like, okay, push the other stuff out. I need to focus on, this conversation or this activity, and kind of put all of myself into it, and then focus on one thing at a time. But yes, Tonal, I think, has really helped me get a better sense of my mental wellness as much as my physical. And I kind of started my journey again, in order to kind of lose weight, obviously, because I wasn't feeling great about myself. I didn't fit into my clothes. And I think Tonal helped me realize that it's not just about losing the weight, but it's also, feeling strong inside and outside. And I really, it's been a really great journey for me to just kind of think about that, like what kind of person I want to be in the world, how I want to show up for people, physically and mentally. And so, yeah, I think, sorry, I might go on a tangent there, but yes, that's generally like what I've been going through the last like few months.
Wow. It sounds like Tonal has given you an opportunity to transform not only your body, but the way you think and like bring yourself, like the way
like your definition of fitness or physical health. Like it made it less weight focused and more health focused.
Yeah, definitely. Well put. Yes, that is well put. You can do the interview for me if you want.
Well, we'll go ahead and say goodbye, and then I'll answer for the rest of it.
There you go.
As I was getting my MBA, I was thinking, no.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I've spent most of my life kind of looking in the mirror. I have, I think a lot of people also have self-esteem issues, but, look at the mirror and then you hear all these things in the back of your mind being like, like nitpicking at yourself. And by being on Tonal, interacting with the community, doing the challenge, kind of doing a little bit of everything, kind of helped me understand that it's not about like what I look on the outside, which is great, but it's also like how I feel about myself on the inside. And I want to be, I want to be a good daughter, and I want to be a good friend, and I want to be a great coworker. And there's a lot of things that I want to do where I can be the best version of myself. But it took me this last year to realize that in order to do that, like I have to prioritize myself. I have to make that time to get up and do my yoga and then my workout and do my meditation at night. And it's, I think about all the times where I'm like, oh, well, I'll just do it later. And I'm like, why did I do that? Like, it only takes, okay, I mean, like if you're doing the yoga and stuff, it probably takes like an hour, but really you can get something done in like 20 minutes. And 20 minutes out of your day is nothing. And so, then you listen to all the athletes and you're like, oh, why didn't I just listen to them before?
See, this is why she's got an MBA, though. I couldn't help but notice you wanted to be a good friend, but a great coworker. That seemed.
Yeah, there you go.
I love that that's your takeaway.
I was like, well, that's interesting.
I mean, I think it's because, kind of being a coworker sometimes is harder than being a good friend.
That's true,
Amen to
because
that.
Work is challenging.
because you can choose who your friends are, but a coworker, like, you didn't have really input on that, so you gotta struggle to make that one work.
So true.
And when you're talking about self-esteem, like the older I get, the more I think like the weird people are the ones who don't have self-esteem issues. Like that's.
Do you mean like that because they're quirky? Like what
no,
do you
I
mean?
think most normal people, there's something about themselves that they don't like.
It's a typical versus atypical kind of thing.
Yeah, and so like I think it's more odd to not have a self-esteem issue, to not wish you were taller or shorter or had hair or had different hair or had or whatever. Like I feel like you said, the more I talk to people, the older I get. Like it doesn't seem like anybody's like, I don't know, completely comfortable with who they are.
I think that's true. And I also think how amazing that at such a young age, you're able to already know that and have absorbed that into yourself. You didn't have to wait till you got to your 40s to figure that out. So my hat's off to you. That's amazing.
Thank you. Hopefully it stays though. I mean, I'm trying really hard to make sure I like remind myself every day. But yeah, I mean, I think it's hard. I think when like society is like showing you what you should look like, it's really hard to say like, oh, I don't look like that. Like, is that acceptable? But it totally is. And everyone should be, or, should find a way to love who they are. Like, no matter, what size you are, what you look like, or what you like to do, or who you love. Like, the most important thing is that you can be happy with yourself.
Absolutely.
I will say it seems like overall culture seems to be trending in a better direction.
Agreed.
In that regard. I mean, obviously it is not a success only journey.
No, we have a long way to go.
But I definitely think big picture, it's better than it used to be.
I mean, absolutely. If you compare it to, 20, 40 years ago, just from an advertising standpoint, it's very different than what it used to be. But we don't want to see that slow down either.
Needs to keep going. Yes. We need more of Natalie.
I do.
Natalie is like an inspiration, but yes.
So Selina, I am curious, how do you balance your workouts now? I know that you said that you were going by the challenge, and that's kind of what kicked all this off. Do you still go by the monthly challenges, or are you kind of making your own schedule now?
I'm still doing the challenges. Although I actually hurt my back like almost 2 weeks ago now. So I've been kind of rehabbing that. But I was following the challenges before I hurt my back. I technically still am on Coach Pablo's challenge right now, which is super great. I'm really bummed that I'm so behind and I'm missing it because I'm trying to fix my back. But I wasn't expecting to still do it. Like I was doing the roadmap that Tonal has first. And then when Natalie did her first challenge in November, I was like, this is great. And then I went back to the roadmap, and then they started doing challenges every month this year. And so I really love them because you get like a big group of people that are all kind of doing it with you, but B, you get to like interact with the coaches. And for me, that's just so cool. Like seeing them on the screen and then knowing that you can kind of like interact with them or ask them questions or hear them live from tips is really awesome. Not trying to sound like a dork, but it's super cool. Like I loved doing every coach's challenge because they all have different tips and they all have different, things that they're really good at and can share. And so that's why I am still doing challenges. I just think it's such a great way to stay accountable. Also a really great way to interact with them because I just think that they're the coolest people, even though I don't know them, but I feel like I know them. But I mean, I want to meet them.
No, they're also great, and you get to see their personality, obviously, because they're teaching the classes. So you get to see that. But you're right, and when you add the extra layer of having the virtual group and having the happy hour and doing those things, it makes it almost like kind of like an exclusive club. Not, exclusive is the wrong word because that makes it sound like not everybody is invited.
Exclusionary, yeah.
And that's not at all what it is. It's the exact opposite of that. But it makes it feel like you guys bonded, not just you with the coach, but everybody that completed the challenge together is bonded in this event that you were able to get past, because they're not easy. They're hard.
No, they're hard workouts. And I would say like it really enhances your own experience, right? Maybe instead of excluding like an exclusive group, it kind of enhances the experience because I get to interact with, the tonal in this group. But, I'm also in a smaller group of other people, like I think you've interviewed people like Michelle and Mariana and all these other people who are just kind of like my support system. And, Michelle took me out to dinner for my graduation, which was like so sweet. And it was the first time I met her, but I feel like I've known her for, years because we are tonal friends.
Yep.
But it really just enhances everything. Like, I think it's really cool. And yeah, you don't have to be a part of it, but it kind of like, it's great that tonal gives you an opportunity to do those things if you want to. Like, it's really awesome to see the coaches on the screen because they're really great in the workouts, but it's great to see them on Facebook lives for questions, or, you get to ask them about anything. You kind of get to hear from them on a more, I don't want to say deeper level, but you get to hear about different things about them. And it's really cool. Makes you feel like you know them, which is awesome.
So what other tonal communities have you been involved with, if you don't mind saying? Are there other? I know that with Peloton, there's lots of different kind of branches of Peloton fans out there,
like Facebook groups, different groups.
Yeah. So I'm in the unofficial squad group, and then I was in the Tonal Fitness Nation. I'm still in Tonal Fitness Nation, but it's really hard to keep track of everything. So I kind of prioritize the ones that I try to spend the most time on. And then I am in the challenge groups each month. So I mean, social media is a lot, but it's a lot to keep track of. But yeah, those are pretty much the groups that I'm in. And then I have a few friends that I've met just through the programs that I kind of interact with on an individual basis.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think it's kind of cool that so many people who do tonal live on the West Coast. So I think there are people that live on the West Coast that are able to, like you and Michelle, are able to meet up and sometimes get to meet the coaches in person because you live somewhat near them. So that's really cool. It's a definite added benefit. Sometimes I get very sad about that we live in the middle of the United States where we can't just join in on those things.
You just fly over, drive over.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Just a few hours.
They should make a tonal hotel. So then they can, they can house us when we want to go visit other members.
That would be amazing. Imagine just walk in and it would just be all working out all the time. Oh, that'd be great.
That sounds awful. All working out all the time.
There would be meditation and stuff too, Tom. Tom doesn't like to work out. He does it now on the tonal, but he doesn't like it.
I don't like it.
So
who's your favorite coach, Tom?
I don't know. I so kind of go on autopilot and just do it. Right.
Whoever he's not working with is his favorite coach. Because
there you go.
He yells.
I was getting mad at the coaches
when
I'm like, God damn it.
Oh, sometimes I get mad too.
Yeah.
I get mad at tonal. I get mad at coaches when I'm doing a move and I'm like, gosh darn it.
I'm like that guy that yells at the umpire when it beeps at me. And I'm just like, oh, bullshit. I did not have my form wrong. This is no different than the last 3 reps.
That's pretty accurate representation right there.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
But right now I'm doing 4 weeks to fat loss 2.
Yeah.
Ooh, how is that one?
We got back from vacation. We got back on Sunday. I've lost 5 pounds since Sunday. Now I came back really fat.
Right.
So I gave myself a head start. I don't know that everybody can expect to lose 5 pounds in 5 days, but
no, I don't think so.
But I was before I left, I was trying to time it out. So I finished up a program and was just doing kind of one-offs because I didn't want to leave in the middle of a program. Just the organizational part of my head didn't like that.
That
And
would drive
so-
me crazy too.
Yeah,
Okay,
to leave
totally
a
get
program
it.
hanging for 10 days, I can't do that. And so when I got back, I was like, well, I guess I'll just go into 4 weeks of fat loss too, because I gained like 10 pounds while I was gone. So that seemed appropriate.
Well,
I mean, I feel you.
he's
I'm about to
pushing
let-
it a lot, so I think it's an effective program. It's doing
That's
all
awesome.
it should.
Yeah.
I know. I
Awesome.
haven't done a workout like in 2 weeks, and I have been eating like a pig, but that's okay. I'm like,
Well,
once I get better, it's all good, and it doesn't make me feel bad about myself, which is great.
good, because
Totally,
you
yeah.
deserve to have a break too. And if you're
Yes.
taking care of yourself,
And if you got a plan in place, right? Like, that like there's an end date on this,
Mhm.
and you'll
Yeah.
get back to it. You know?
I'm gonna see Coach Pablo. He's gonna kick my butt when I'm back. It'll be fine. Be all good.
So what would you say you love most about Tonal?
That's a really hard question. I don't think so. I mean, the community is probably the biggest thing that I love about Tonal, truthfully, because I really care about like the communities that I am a part of, because when you put time into something, it like, time is like the one currency that you can't ever get back. And so I really enjoy like the people that I'm around. So the Tonal community is probably the biggest thing. I mean, other than the fact that I can aside from the fact that I can like work out at home, I can do everything that I wanted to do in the gym and understand like my metrics and my weights and all of that. Like the Tonal community is probably the best. But I mean, Tonal itself is just, I'm always like amazed by how much you can do. My friends think that I'm in a cult because I talk about Tonal so much. My parents also agree. But it doesn't matter, because honestly, it's made a big difference. And now it's kind of, my friends are always like, oh yeah, how's your Tonal? I mean, mirror. And I'm like, no, it's not a mirror. It's Tonal. Like,
Don't even
like,
say that.
I was like, can't even tell you how many times I've gotten that. Like, I swear there should be like, a jar that people have to put $1 in every time they compare it, but that's fine.
That's like if somebody called your Mercedes a Hyundai.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no,
No.
It's just, it's just not the same thing. Like it's
No.
not
like,
at all.
oh, like it's not really not like, because this is all I was like, this is strength. It's strength training, right? And strength training isn't for everyone. I love strength training, and I'm not a big runner or a big cardio person, so it's really great for me, and I really love that I can do it at home. One of my coworkers actually just bought a Tonal. I'm really excited for him to get it. And I was like, we can do virtual group workouts. Let's do it.
They're like, calm down.
But yeah, so community is big for me. But everything is great. I can't pick one. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
So do you have any advice for people who are just now getting their Tonal?
Yes, I would say that keep an open mind, because I think Tonal has a lot to offer. And when you first get on, at least for me, I was like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff here. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. You do that strength assessment, but then, I mean, as the community gets bigger, I think it gets harder to find information, which is not a bad thing, because it's great that the community is growing. But for someone who's just starting, you might be like, oh, what program do I do? Right? Like that's such a big question when you're just starting. So I'd say like, keep an open mind. I really love Liz's like mantra of staying curious, because I think it's helped me kind of get to the point where I am now, where I'm, I do a little bit of everything every day. But if you're so like, I just want to like get muscle, right? Then you risk the opportunity of kind of like losing out on something that could, improve maybe your mobility and your strength. So yeah, that's what I would say. And join a virtual group workout, or like meet someone that like message someone. You're like, hey, do you want to do a workout together or something? Because you never know what's going to happen, and it could be the best decision that you've made for yourself.
I love that.
Awesome. So I guess before we let you go, where can people find you on social media if you would like to be found?
Yes, I have an Instagram handle. It's also like my music Instagram, but I kind of just put it all together. It's Selina Sun, the singer. So check it out. listen to my music if you want. You don't have to. But it is cool. I have my own CD. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check that out.
What kind of music is it?
It's probably, I would say it's more like pop music, but it is on Spotify.
Nice.
Just my name, Selina Sun. It's also on iTunes Music, but it's a CD. It took me like 6 years to put together. It's like kind of one of those things on my bucket list.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of songs that I wrote when I was younger. And now that I'm finished school, I'm going to potentially try and start working on another album, but we'll see how it goes.
Nice.
It's in the pipeline.
Should we
exciting.
sit on this interview till you're a big star so we get all the traction from our exclusive Selina Sun Tonal interview?
No.
He's like, don't
do that.
No.
Don't do that.
Awesome.
But-
Well, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
No, never mind. Okay, I'm
Okay.
good.
Well, I was going to say thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you guys so much. It was great talking to you, and
You
thanks for the
too.
opportunity.
This has been a lot of fun. Hopefully you and I will get to do a virtual group workout together at some point. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I would love
Tom,
that.
But
you should do it too.
But I heard her sing, so don't make an album with her.
Oh, I wouldn't.
No,
try.
that's what you heard. You're talking. Don't make an album.
You don't
Like
want to
you,
do.
Selena, don't make an album with Crystal.
No, you definitely don't want to do that.
We can do a podcast.
Okay,
And
That
I
we
love
can do.
that.
Well, we
Yeah.
have. We just did.
And I mean, we can do another one.
What do you think we were doing all this time?
I thought we were just like
podcast.
talking and having fun.
We can do that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Cool.
You have a great rest of your night and have a great weekend.
You too. Bye, guys. See you later.
Bye.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close. Until next time, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe, and they can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ClipOutCrystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/Superset Podcast. And while you're there, like the page and join the group wherever you're getting your podcast from. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep lifting.
Smart handle, smart bar, smart training. There you are, customize, make it right. AI, form and vibe. Superset will show you what it's all about. It's a tonal workout.
The Superset is made possible in part by support from Tonal.